was known as the first 007. He was the alchemist credited with finding the Philosopher's Stone.
Wow.
And there is a very strong connection. It was said to have been found in Glastonbury Abbey, according to some of the writings that I have, that I've collected for years. So that might be something that you didn't already know.
I didn't, this is the whole thing. With my whole mission, I never knew anything.
You can find that source of information, and now you know what to look for.
Yeah.
You can find that Dr. John Dee was very famous.
And it was the 007 for your eyes only, and it was for your eyes only because those represented her glasses kind of scenario for the
He was
Queen.
known as 007, that was his code name.
This is, yeah, that's a whole kind of massive chapter, this whole divine feminine being on a, so being like that, it was confirmed by Spirit that I am on a mission in service of her divine feminine majesty. How everything kind of completely made sense. And Louis knew that later on. And Harry, when he listened to the talk, he knew that as well. And he also, like when I told him, I am a bodhisattva myself, and I was recognized by my teacher, the 14th Shamarpa Rinpoche, but when I asked him if I may talk about the experiences, my enlightenment, he said, of course, you can, I will pray for you. And I'm like, do you need any help? And he said like, no, I said I don't need any help, I just need to know this from you. So the Shamarpa, he recognized me, and then in the tower, when Louis gave me this silver bar, I tell him about the Shamarpa, my teacher, and he tells me that he was with the Karmapa twice. And so he carried the energy of the Karmapa, who in my lineage, the Karmapa and the Shamarpa always recognize each other. So Louis, representing the Karmapa side of my Buddhist cycle, came to give me a tendril, a Buddhist gift of auspicious connection that you traditionally receive only after enlightenment. So this was mahusive. What a big part that played. He knew I was going to Switzerland, he knew about this event tonight. And then at the moment, so I tried to cut it like really short and make it like quick. I was, during the last few years, I realized some of my past lives, which is like one thing that Harry and Louis, they both knew. Harry felt, yes, 100%, because he followed the whole story with all the confirmations that I am someone like Elijah and someone like St. John the Baptist, and all the kind of confirmations on this path. And then I'm in the tower. On the 10th of May in the morning, I found one speech of Steiner where he talks about the reappearance of Christ in the etheric, and I was like, wow, how can you find such beautiful words for what we've been doing in the church all this time, anchoring the light of Christ into the planetary grid through music without words. So that day, when I saw that, in the same speech, he talks about initiates, people who receive information, which is important for the whole evolution of humanity. And then this talk was given on the 10th of May, 1910 in Hanover. When I saw the date, I saw like, wow, this is today. When I saw Hanover, I was like, wow, this is where my mother, my grandmother, and the mother of my grandmother were growing up and were born. So it could have been possible that Steiner, when he was in this town, that my grandmother was at this talk in her mother's arms. This is a possibility. And as Steiner said in that speech, every kind of tiny little thing counts. So that day I was like, whoa, on fire. I knew the solar flares are coming, so I went in the tower to anchor this energy there and did a proper ceremony. I shared the thing with the vision that I had this morning, and this is how we anchor the light of Christ. We did 3 Oms in the Lion's Roar, and we did a proper ceremony that lasted the whole night. And I recorded all of this. In these recordings, after the 3rd track, a woman comes to me and she talks to me, and I tell her that I'm going to be going to Switzerland to see the Steiner people to present them the story. And then she just randomly goes like, oh, maybe you were him. And then I'm like, I think, and I'm like, wow, I might actually well have been. If I look back at the temple that I built, the temple Ibiza rocks made out of stone, ein steinerner Tempel. The oil lamp is an oil lamp made of stone, eine steinerne Öllampe. This soundtrack that we're listening to was created by the walls of St. Michael's Tower, soundtrack created by stone, ein steinerner Herzschlag. And we always feel hearts of stone with rose petal prayers for peace, ein steinernes Herz. So with all these things, it made like complete sense to me, kind of like, yes, this might well be like something that would make sense to me. After the evening I had finished with all of those aurora, Borealis, everything that happened there, and the whole evening, you can listen to all the tracks, it's all recorded on YouTube, it's like a playlist. And at the end of all of this woman, she comes, she's still there at like 1:30 in the morning after everything that happened and everything that had been said. And she says, actually, just to let you know, I do past life regressions, and I have the gift of seeing people's past lives, and you definitely were Steiner. And I was like, wow, okay. And then she told me to embody it and like, just like, da-da-da-da-da. So with this information in my heart, I went to Switzerland to anchor all this. The Gretianum, I told them I have to do the vibrations there because I'm an initiate and I have to do that on this day. They said like, oh, we're fully booked, we can't do it, it's too short notice. And I'm like, okay, I've got an oil lamp for you, and an oil lamp with 7 flames that I want to gift you. Who can I talk to when I bring you this oil lamp on the 19th? And they said like, I received an email in German where they go like, I don't want to see this guy. Do you want to see that guy? If you don't want to see that guy, we can always tell him there's nobody here and he should drop it off at the reception. And I'm like, okay. And then I get another email. Oh, sorry, that email wasn't for you. Yeah, there's not going to be anybody here. Just drop it off at the reception. And I thought like, oh well, it doesn't matter. So I went to the Hain where he's buried, to his Grabstein, with that oil lamp with 7 flames that I had. And as I put this oil lamp, he's got a cross on his gravestone, which is a Rosicrucian cross with 7 rubies on it apparently. And this oil lamp matched those 7 rubies. Every wick touched one of those rubies. And then as we started the heartbeat, a leaf, it wasn't a leaf, it was a piece of bark, fell and it dropped right, plunged into the oil lamp. And I'm like, well, it's not that we're like sitting at a place where Steiner's ashes and the ashes of all the disciples, like the people that believed in his work, are kind of spread. So, and it was on this very day that one of my Grail maidens lost, she called me and like Sarah, she goes like, oh, I lost the tooth. What was the story when you lost your tooth? And I'm like, well, I lost the tooth in Ireland on the same beach where St. Patrick lost his tooth when we brought the English of the crown back to the land, but it didn't hurt. And then she was like, you wouldn't believe it, I lost a tooth in ash yesterday. And I'm like, whoa, on the day when I'm standing on like Rudolf Steiner's ashes, embodying like me, like I am a reincarnation of Steiner, and with that I realized. And then, so we did our thing there, and then I heard that Louis had died. He passed on the same day when I arrived at this place that I had to find. This was my sole purpose, to find my last incarnation, to close that link, and for him to die on the same day, for him who gave me the divine confirmation that I am on a mission from the Divine Feminine. And later the realizations of all of this, and how this book, when I had this book in my backpack, like stashed away the last copy that I have of this book. And